The first day at a new school was never easy. But for the new girl walking through those crowded hallways, it wasn't nerves that made her heart race, it was anticipation. She had seen the looks before, the whispering groups, the sideways glances that followed her like shadows. But she wasn't just any new girl, she was a fighter. Molded by discipline, sharpened by struggle, and guided by a mother who taught her never to bow to fear. Her name was Zara. Tall, toned, and with eyes that burned like storm clouds. She carried herself with quiet strength. Her deep brown skin seemed to glow under the harsh, fluorescent lights of the school corridor as she moved past the rows of lockers. Most kids stepped aside without realizing why, they just felt something about her. Something that said, "Don't mess with me." But every school had someone who needed to test that warning. At Jefferson High, that someone was Brooklyn. Blonde, rich, and used to getting her way. Brooklyn ran her group of friends like a queen runs her court. Everyone laughed when she laughed, followed where she led, and never dared to challenge her authority. To her, dominance wasn't just power, it was a show. And nothing threatened her spotlight more than someone knew who carried confidence she couldn't break. So, when Zara walked into the cafeteria that day, lunch tray in hand, scanning for an empty table, Brooklyn saw her chance. "Hey, new girl." Brooklyn's voice rang out loud enough to turn heads. "You're sitting in my spot." The cafeteria fell silent. Zara looked up slowly, her expression calm but unflinching. "Didn't see your name on it," she replied evenly. A few students gasped. Brooklyn's jaw tightened. She wasn't used to being talked back to. Especially not by someone who had just walked through the door. "Listen," Brooklyn sneered, stepping closer. "Maybe you don't get how things work here. You're new. I'm the one people listen to. So move." Zara simply took a bite of her sandwich. Her gaze fixed on Brooklyn like she was observing a fly that had landed too close. "If you wanted the seat," Zara said, "you could have just asked nicely." Brooklyn's friends laughed nervously, unsure how far this would go. But Brooklyn's pride wouldn't let her back down. "You think you're tough, huh?" she hissed. "You have no idea who you're messing with." Zara stood slowly, her full height casting a shadow across Brooklyn's smirking face. The room seemed to shrink. "Neither do you," Zara said quietly. The tension snapped. Brooklyn shoved her shoulder hard. Zara didn't move. Another shove. Zara's tray slid off the table, food splattering across the floor. Laughter rippled through the crowd. And that was exactly what Brooklyn wanted, to humiliate her. "Oops," she said mockingly. "Guess you should have watched where you," before she could finish. Brooklyn swung her knee up fast, aiming straight for Zara's face. The kind of cheap move she'd used in cheerleader fights before. But that was her big mistake. Zara's hand shot up like lightning, catching Brooklyn's leg midair. The impact stopped with a dull thud that echoed through the cafeteria. For a split second, Brooklyn's eyes widened in disbelief. Then Zara twisted her wrist, pivoting slightly. And Brooklyn stumbled backward, nearly falling. Zara didn't hit her, she didn't need to. Her calm, deliberate control said everything. "In Thailand," Zara said softly, "we call that a bad block." Whispers filled the room. "Thailand? What's she talking about? Did she just catch a kick like that?" The cafeteria supervisor finally rushed in, demanding to know what was going on. But the damage, or lesson, had already been done. Brooklyn's face burned with humiliation as Zara picked up her tray, tossed it in the trash, and walked out like nothing happened. From that moment, the legend of the new girl spread through the school like wildfire. Later that day, in the girls' locker room, Brooklyn was fuming. "She thinks she's better than me. Fine. Tomorrow, we'll show her what happens when someone doesn't know their place," she told her crew. They nodded, half out of loyalty, half out of fear. But what they didn't know was that Zara had heard every word. That night, as the moonlight poured through her window, Zara wrapped her hands with white bandages, out of habit more than need. She looked at the small golden medal sitting on her nightstand. The one she had won in Bangkok 2 years ago, the World Youth Muay Thai Championship. She smiled faintly. She hadn't planned to fight anymore. After moving to the US, her mother wanted her to focus on her studies, to build a future far from violence. But sometimes, she thought, you don't choose the fight chooses you. The next day, things escalated. Brooklyn and her friends cornered Zara behind the gym after school. Thought you could make me look stupid, huh? Brooklyn sneered, cracking her knuckles. Now, you're gonna pay for it. Zara sighed softly. You sure you want to do this? She asked. Brooklyn smirked. I'm positive. She swung first, wild and fast, but untrained. Zara sidestepped with ease, her body flowing with grace. Another punch, another dodge. To the onlookers hiding nearby, it looked like Zara was barely moving, just weaving through Brooklyn's fury. Stop dodging and fight me. Brooklyn yelled, frustration turning her face red. Zara's voice was calm, steady. You've already lost. Brooklyn lunged, trying to knee Zara again. Aiming higher this time, but that was when it happened. In one swift, fluid motion, Zara caught her leg, turned her body, and tapped Brooklyn's shoulder with a precise elbow strike, fast enough to stun, soft enough not to injure. Brooklyn froze, breath caught, realizing that if Zara had wanted, she could have dropped her flat. The silence afterward was deafening. Zara looked into Brooklyn's wide eyes and said quietly, Muay Thai isn't about hurting people. It's about control. Remember that. Then she turned and walked away, leaving Brooklyn standing there, shaking, not from pain, but from realization. Word spread faster than wildfire. Videos appeared online within hours, grainy clips of Zara deflecting Brooklyn's attacks like something out of a movie. Black girl beats bully with martial arts trended on every local feed. By Monday, Zara wasn't just the new girl, she was a symbol. Teachers noticed the shift too. Brooklyn stopped mocking others, her swagger dimmed, replaced by something unfamiliar, respect. And Zara? She kept to herself, still quiet, still calm, but now surrounded by curious faces wanting to know her story. One afternoon, the principal called her in. Zara, he said kindly, I saw the video. Impressive, but we don't want fighting on school grounds. Zara nodded. I understand. I didn't fight. I just defended myself. The principal paused, then smiled slightly. Yes. And you did it with discipline. I think the school could use more of that. That's how. A week later, the Jefferson High Self-Defense Club began, with Zara as the unexpected instructor. Students from every group joined, including Brooklyn, who showed up one afternoon, eyes downcast. I want to learn, she said quietly. Zara studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Then let's start. The weeks passed, and something remarkable happened. The same place that had once echoed with laughter at others. Pain began to hum with teamwork, respect, and confidence. The school's energy shifted. The bullies found purpose. The quiet kids found strength. And at the center of it all was Zara, the girl who turned humiliation into harmony. But behind that transformation was something deeper. Zara wasn't fighting Brooklyn that day, she was fighting the idea that strength had to be loud or cruel. She proved that true power is silent, patient, and rooted in self-control. And though she never boasted, her story spread far beyond the school. Local news stations picked it up. Then national outlets. And before long, the world knew her name, Zara Daniels. The teen who stopped a bully with discipline, not violence. The final scene. A packed gymnasium, with students lined up on mats. Zara stood in front of them, teaching the first moves of Muay Thai: balance, respect, focus. Her voice was calm but strong. When someone tries to bring you down, she said, remember, control your heart, not just your fists. Because the strongest warrior isn't the one who strikes first. It's the one who stays standing last.